Thanks, Mike. So my name is Christopher Craddock, along with David Peebler and Mike Cassandra. We are RocketStar. And we're coming to you today to talk about the holy grail of the space industry, which is reusability. Because without reusability, you cannot get access to the exponential ecosystem that is space travel. Without being able to go out and come back, there's no use to even bother to go up there. So I want to turn this over to Dave Peebler quick to start going to how we're going to get that together.
Okay, what we are is a satellite launch provider. We are using our proprietary aerospike propulsion technology and to launch small satellites into LEO. We're going to show you today how this turnkey launch system is in incredible demand. The growth in CubeSats, which is just one small segment of the small sat market, this is actual launches. You can see a 4x launch between 2012 and 2013. And the entire small, micro, and nano market is going to absolutely take off. We had a little dip in 2015. We had a couple of explosions and some failures to launch. But as you see, it hasn't taken away from the market that exists now. We have no lag in our market. Our market exists now, and the demand is unfillable. There's exponential, virtually exponential demand that we're faced with. Tom Marcusic, the CEO of Firefly, has stated just last week that by 2020 there will be more than 2,000 small satellites to be launched.
So I want to go over now with you where we are, where we've been, and where we're going. Concept to launch, which will be in the next 3 weeks, is just under 17 months for about 50 grand. We expect the next phase to cost us between 120 and 250,000. That'll get us to TRL 8 and get us up over the Kármán line. By that point, we'll be able to collect initial deposits for our customers that we're in conversations with, and that'll put us into the suborbital launch category by 2017. So I want to turn this over to Mike, because a lot of this was his idea.
So like he said, we are launching our first sounding rocket within the next 3 weeks from Kennedy Space Center. We'll be launching hopefully off pad 39C, which you can see in the top picture there. Our rocket, codenamed the Choppa, mostly so we could say get to the Choppa when we invite people to the launch. Stands at 5 feet tall. It is going to hit a top max altitude of 15,000 feet, and we will break the sound barrier with it. We have 2 subcontractors that we're working with to build this. It's already done. This is a picture of it unpainted here. That's Trailblazer Technologies and Micro Aerospace. Combined, they have roughly 50 years of experience in aerospace fabrications, mostly for defense purposes, also with NASA. Trailblazer worked with NASA on the space shuttle. So this is going to happen within the next 3 weeks.
This is a quick snapshot of the clients that we can actually talk about. Planet Labs has told us they'll take 10 rides at $1 million a pop once we can get through flight testing. United Launch Alliance we're meeting with on November 12th to talk to their advanced propulsion side of it to design a single stage to orbit launcher with them. DSI has given us a letter of intent towards 150 kilogram payload. Tricep will take 250 kilograms. Department of Defense and Stratcom have already started talks with us. NanoX, we're working with Rich Purnell over there to satisfy launch requirements. And Escape Dynamics is working with us to develop a couple of engines for their upcoming shuttlecraft in the 2020s. Joint ventures, we're in initial talks with Escape Dynamics and Firefly to work with them. We really don't want to be competitors. We want to be collaborating with them less than competing with them, because we're all going to have a lot of business once it starts opening up and it becomes reusable. I want to have people that can shuffle this off to if I can't handle the business. Stony Brook University is helping us not only with the research, but the continuing research towards a patent. We feel that we have some technology that I can't really talk about here that can make it even more effective over 35 kilometers. Four Frontiers is developing a launch service platform with us. They have a few finance options right now we're discussing with them. That is slated to be functional by 2016. And this is just a snapshot of our launch partners. Micro Aerospace Solutions has over 15 years in the business dealing with NASA and subcontractor within the aerospace field. Trailblazer has been doing it, 43, 44 years. They've worked with the DoD, missile defense strategies, and you name it, they've pretty much done it. Kennedy Space Center, working with closely for a number of reasons, one of them being press, and Dave has kind of helped us with that, along with that. They also have the ability to help us get through the TRL levels, because right now we're at right around 4 or 5. Once we go through the shake testing and drop testing on some of our bigger rockets, we'll be in the 7s and 8s, and of course getting up above 100 kilometers. I'll turn this over to you, Dave.
So one of the things we were asked to do is talk about sales and marketing. And you know, NewSpace in general, by the way, we believe should have non-traditional marketing. We're not going to take out billboards. We're not going to take out necessarily at this point ads in magazines. That just doesn't work anymore. What we really see as working on the marketing side is the experiential. It's creating experiences that bond ourselves with our clients, with the people that support us and friends of the company. And that will play out over time. The best experience that we can have is a launch. There are many players in this business, players that have been around in one particular instance for 18 years, others that have been around close to a decade that have not yet had a launch. They're highly capitalized companies and they haven't had a launch for whatever reason. I won't speculate on that. We are going to have a launch in 3 weeks. We're going to have a launch next year. And through those launches, we're going to leverage and generate as much buzz as possible, which is why Kennedy Space Center is so important. Every detail of our launch is important in terms of building brand awareness. And we have done, I think, a very good job in the past 9 months of using social media. We have going on 6,000 really kind of fervent supporters of us that love space, love what we're doing, and love how we're moving forward with everything. There's luminaries there, there's astronauts, there's people at NASA, competitors, and people in the space industry in general. So that's really been fairly successful. On the sales, it's simply tapping into the demand. The demand is unfillable at this particular stage in the game. And unless things change dramatically, which we're hoping to be a cog in that particular wheel, that unfulfilled demand is going to be around for quite a while. If you're looking at 2,000 launches by 2020 based on current capabilities, it's just, you know, that's the demand, and hopefully it will get filled. The strategic relationships that we have are very important, because through that pipeline, the network that we've created, the ecosystem that we've created, the sales are built into that and the demand. So we have done a lot of our sales work up front, at least for the next few years.
These are engineers at Stony Brook, and also some of the engineers that we tap for, to be kind of the tip of the spear, so we understand what the market is looking for. The bottom 3 are all geologists. Tim is working on a lunar reconnaissance orbiter discovering water on the moon. The other 2 have discovered water on Mars. The top 2 are managing most of the research going on at Stony Brook. Next slide. These are our advisors for both a business development as well as a relationship standpoint. Rob Briskman is a founding member of NASA, as one of the original 11 members, and he's also co-founder of SiriusXM Radio.
We're going to pass up on this because of time, but we have done our strength, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats, and we can go over that at some other time.
We're seeking at this point, for this particular milestone, $250,000 for a 10% stake in the company. That will get us to suborbital and beyond, and will take care of marketing costs to the next level of our suborbital launch vehicle. And that's it.
How much is that $250,000 last year?
End of 2016, early 17. Yeah, we're lean and mean. We move very fast and we move very quickly.
About 17 months ago, someone said, "How much do you need?" And we said, $250,000 at the time. And they said, "There's no way you can do it for $250,000." And we said, "Well, we're going to," and we have done what we've done for $50,000. Just up until now, for 17 months, we spent $50,000 to get everything done where we are now, to launch a rocket.
Good point, thank you.
So 250 gets you to suborbital, is that right?
No, it gets us over the Kármán line, so technically it'll be orbital on the second launch.
I'm going to asterisk this with the caveat that we're investors in Rocket Labs, so it's completely biased.
No, it's Peter Beck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
I met him at in Utah. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's okay. So understand what the market looks like now in terms of demand and the bottleneck on launch. You're not the only team going after this opportunity, especially after the contracts last week. And I pulled up on my phone. So last week at the International Astronautical Congress, you had CubeCap, Dynetics, Interstellar Technologies, Blue Star, all jump into this. I'm sure there are many others that didn't make announcements. Do you rely on the fact that despite all this competitive pressure that's coming into the market, a few years from now, we're still going to have exponential growth in CubeSats that's not fulfilled? How do you, the current market dynamics notwithstanding, how do you sustain competitive advantage in a market that's being flooded with competition?
Dave, I feel like you want to take that one.
Yeah, I'll take it. We are going to do it a number of ways. Number one, we feel that we're just ahead of the game. So as kind of a first mover that's actually getting a rocket up, if there were if it was crowded with people that had gotten rockets up, it would be a different situation for us. So how do we keep that competitive advantage? We have a lot of stuff that's in the pipeline that we can't talk about now, but we are looking 10 years into the future in terms of our development of our technology and development of the platform itself. So we are just going to try to stay enough ahead where that demand we can take in as much as we can. I mean, the demand we don't see, and this is just personal opinion, we can't point to any facts, there are none, but we see that bottleneck being there for at least 5 years. Unless people can come into the market and get rockets up faster than has happened so far. But if you look at historical record, they might just be getting their first rockets up in 4 or 5 years. So I think by us just moving quicker, faster, leaner, meaner, and being able to take money and use it really smartly is going to keep us ahead of the game.
Just to jump in on that.
Yeah.
The key word is before, reusability. 6-day turnaround on one aircraft.
How much is one lot? What payload are you trying to carry?
For the bigger rock, we're looking for 150 to 200 kilograms.
How much do you want that to cost?
As of right now, we've been talking to customers. The only one that's come to the table is Planet Labs, and they've issued a $1 million per 150 kilogram payload. So that brings us down to what? I can't do the math that quickly. I apologize. Yeah.
So each launch is going to cost you less than $1 million.
Correct. After we get the first one up, it'll cost between 120 to 200,000 for fuel and refurbishing.
How much to manufacture?
Pardon me? I'm sorry.
How much to build it?
How much to build it? $2.5 million for the largest rocket.
What changed to allow you to go ahead with aerospike technology?
Thermal capability and better materials.
And where did that research and engineering come from? Is that centered around Stony Brook?
Yes. We did a feasibility study with Stony Brook to make sure that we weren't just blowing smoke, and they found that it's possible. And then we did a comparative analysis between a Bell engine and a aerospike through computational fluid dynamics with them. They've since determined that their design works up to 35 kilometers. Anything above that, it's the same as a Bell nozzle, but that's stage 3 we're working on an ablative aerospike that would change that even further.
So it's up to 35 clips.
Yes. Anything above that in an aerospike is basically the same as a Bell nozzle, but most of your thrust and most of your power comes on the launch pad anyway. You need to be better down there than you would a Bell nozzle. So we save between 40 and 60% between weight and thrust savings.
Your rocket's fully reusable?
Yes.
3 stages. You were just talking about.
Single stage.
Single stage. So it's a rocket, it shoots up and it comes back down, and how does it land and get refueled?
Currently, we're looking at dropping it in the ocean, having it hermetically sealed with all the ports and everything that deploy the CubeSats, fishing it out with the Coast Guard, refurbish, reuse. Working with planetary systems.
Sounds like it would cost $120,000 just to get the Coast Guard out to fish it out.
Not if we have a long-term contract with Kennedy. We have a CSFL, I think is the acronym for the Space Act that they want us to use on this particular one.
Why is it the Musk can't do it? And why is it that you will be able to?
Sure.
The problem with those companies, other companies that are out there right now, up to and including Firefly, who is also looking at an aerospike, is that they have already invested too much in the infrastructure that they have to be able to change to adapt to the technology that we're going to be using. They're already set up fabricators for the 3D printing for their bell nozzles. They've already set up all their manufacturing, and it would cost them more money to turn around and rebuild in order to do what we're doing now than it would cost us to build from scratch.
They'd have to redesign everything that they have planned, you know, for the next 5 years.
Disrupting the disruptors.
What are your plans if your first rocket fails?
Build another one. We can do a.
But do you have it instrumented, and can you figure out why it failed?
Yes, we have full instrumentation, flight computers, altimeters, whatever have you right now. It's being built into the initial prototype. The larger ones, obviously, will have better ones. We're talking with, I forgot the name of the company. They're out in California. It starts with an E, but for the same reason, we want to have full documentation of flight capability. Yes, the Ecliptic. Thank you. No? Okay.
And when do you want to have the first full payload flight?
Ideally by September 17, but I'm hoping we can push them quicker. It all depends on how much work they have as a subcontractor and how much money we have available to us.
Just to go back to the question about what happens if we have a catastrophic first launch, our engine's 3D printed. That is something that's really significant, and we haven't really spent a lot of time on that, but that alone is significant because you've heard about companies that want to do that. We've done it. Now, it's a smaller rocket, but we've done it. So what we would do is we would look at the metrics of what happened, find out what happened, and then just print another engine and get it up very, very quickly. When people see how fast we're going to get our rockets up, they're going to go, holy crap, because it does not exist right now.
You don't know of any other companies doing a 3D printed engine?
None. But a whole bunch want to.
None that are presently.
There's
presently printing.
Well, no, Bag of Eve is, but they're not doing that well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last one I saw, they
realistic ones.
Yeah.
Ones that work.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Just a couple of words about the ground testing you're performing up until your launch in 3 weeks and subsequent launches.
Yeah, we have a call with NASA on Monday to talk about test firing capabilities. We plan to do at least 2, maybe 3 test fires before we go up, so we're not embarrassed when all the companies come down to take a look. Discovery Channel's coming down, so we want to look good. Yeah, so we're going to do a lot extensive testing through Trailblazer to make sure that it works before it flies.
Thank you.
Are you going through some sort of NASA safety process? Where are you in that?
Yeah, we have Amy Hautz-Gilfrisch, I wish she would shorten her name, is covering all of that down there at NASA Kennedy and just kind of running us through the checklist.
Do you have to pay for, so your launch in 3 weeks, do you have to pay for the, for all the range?
Yeah, we have to pay for all the fees associated with that. The people come in and check the ordnance, deliver the ordnance. They're trying to find ways, because it's only a 5-foot rocket, it's not a 90-foot rocket, to kind of discount that for us. But their subcontractors are already pre-negotiated, so they may have to do something where it's like a pay-as-you-go sort of thing.